A very good evening. Many thanks for staying with us here on TV47 tonight. These are some of the stories making headlines on TV47 Spotlight. On TV47 Spotlight tonight, tension is still high in NDEIYA village, Kiambu County, following continued attacks by cattle rustlers. Kiambu Governor James Nyoro and security officials were chased from the area while trying to calm the situation. Highest recoveries in a day.
I'm also pleased to inform you that today is the highest number of patients that we have discharged.
Kenya records the highest number of recoveries in a single day. Over 1,000 are free from the virus. No deal yet. A section of Jubilee senators snub majority with Irungu Kangata's meeting.
Of having this Mbuzi to continue that friendship.
The House is still divided on the revenue sharing ahead of Tuesday's sitting. Waited and waited. Kenyans still waiting for the Thika Road footbridges 3 years on. Tonight is Faith Cheptile, and we start with some good news tonight. Kenya has recorded the highest number of recoveries ever recorded in a period of 24 hours after 1,062 recoveries were reported today. This as the total number of COVID-19 cases rose to 26,436 after 599 more people tested positive for the virus. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
Kenya has today recorded 1,062 recoveries in the last 24 hours, the highest number of recoveries in a single day.
I'm pleased to announce that a total of 1,062 patients have been discharged. 79 are from facilities, while 983 are from home-based care programs. This is the highest number of discharges realized so far in 24 hours.
As 599 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed, raising the country's total to 26,436 cases. The new positives were drawn from the 4,420 people whose samples were tested within 24 hours. This brings the country's cumulative total tests to 353,727. Health CS Mutahi Kagwe has warned healthcare workers against withholding COVID-19 test results for patients who die from the virus, saying that this puts the bereaving family at risk during burial acts.
We should not, and I plead, please, if your relative, if your brother, if your sister, if somebody succumbs to COVID-19, let's just be honest. This person has passed, because anybody can die of it. So because of that fact, let us all be honest, and there should be absolutely no reason why a doctor should issue a negative certificate to a positive death so that the death can be a normal burial, to remove stigma.
2 more people have succumbed to the virus, bringing the death tally to 420. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
And the government insists that schools will reopen in January next year, despite calls for candidates to be allowed to go back to classes. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Education is calling on parents in private schools to discuss with school owners on how to pay part of their annual school fees to enable the schools to stay afloat.
The Education Cabinet Secretary says the decision to reopen school was made in consultation with various stakeholders in order to curb the spread of COVID-19. He, however, says that the date might be revised based on the prevailing circumstances. He has cautioned against the push for the reopening of schools, urging parents to prioritize the health and safety of their children.
I said we shall open schools in January. And if you look at my previous statement, we have said, should conditions change according to advice from health, then something else may happen. But nevertheless, the government is in the process of inspecting all schools and ensuring that those schools are capable of complying with the COVID-19 regulations. The question you should be asking yourself is, do you want a dead child or a live child?
The CS advised parents whose children were enrolled in private schools to negotiate with the school owners to part their annual school fee to enable the schools to stay afloat. The government is in the meantime considering availing 7 billion Kenya shillings as loans to qualified private school owners. This is readiness for the crisis faced by almost 11,000 private schools currently at risk of closure.
Those people who took their children to private schools, because the said private schools are providing a service through online service, negotiate with them and ensure that you pay a proportion of the school fees so that what you are talking about does not happen. It is further considering availing 7 billion shillings in terms of concessionary loans for those who qualify for it to private school owners. The government of His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is ready and willing to ensure that any child who decides to opt from private schools to public schools is taken like yesterday. So this thinking that children will leave private schools and have nowhere to go, that again is a figment of somebody's imagination.
The government says that public schools will accommodate private school students whose schools will be closed. Immaculate Uma, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, Senate is yet to get a deal on the disputed revenue sharing formula ahead of a sitting on Tuesday. A meeting organized by Majority Whip Irungu Kang'ata today did not materialize after senators opposed to the third generation formula snubbed the meeting. As the deadlock on the proposed sharing formula continues to divide senators within the ruling Jubilee Party, intense lobbying is ongoing. Majority Whip Irungu Kang'ata had on Sunday organized an informal meeting to whip members. The meeting was, however, postponed after senators from the team opposing the disputed third-generation formula snapped the meeting.
We thought of bringing together senators because this stalemate seems to have created a rift amongst senators, which is not good. We want to continue as friends. We want to continue as brothers and sisters post this stalemate. Senate is a small house that has very few members, unlike the National Assembly. National Assembly has almost 400 members, but Senate we have 67 members. So we thought of having this Mbuzi to continue that friendship, creating bonds beyond the official business that we transact at the Senate.
Kang'ata, however, optimistic of another meeting to whip members. At least 4 proposals are said to be on the table ahead of Tuesday's sitting.
We have negotiations which are ongoing behind the scene. There was a view that if we have this Mbuzi, there is a possibility that we torpedo those negotiations. We are almost coming up with a settlement in a time from now, and therefore we thought of deciding we call off the Mbuzi. Once we are done with the business, we'll always come back for the Mbuzi.
A mediation committee that was supposed to be formed did not materialize after a dispute emerged on the leadership of the committee. A section of senators are said to have opposed Senate Deputy Speaker Professor Margaret Kamal to chair the committee that was to retreat on Thursday.
A vote will have to be taken on amendments that are being brought so that we are able to they're able to discuss the report and move forward, because we cannot continue procrastinating this problem. Because remember, they have adjourned several times, and we can't just keep the country, in abeyance and, the country watching because if they're not agreeing, then I don't see them agreeing at any time.
Senate will be meeting for the 8th time on Tuesday in an attempt to unlock the deadlock that has rendered counties broke. Away from that, tension is high in NDEIYA, Kiambu County, following attacks by cattle rustlers from Kajiado County. A meeting that was to be led by Kiambu Governor James Nyoro and high-ranked security officers from Kiambu ended prematurely after they were chased away by armed youth. Zainab Mohammed with the details.
Tension is still high in Gatune area, NDEIYA village, Kiambu Kajiado border, following attacks by cattle rustlers who have made away with more than 100 livestock in the area. The conflict has seen locals from either sides on a revenge mission for the last few weeks.
Watu wanakufa NDEIYA, ng'ombe mamia na mbuzi mamia zinaibiwa kila siku, kila usiku. Watu hata wengine wameanza kuhama manyumba kwao kwa sababu hawajui kile kinaweza tendeka.
Kiambu Governor James Nyoro and a host of high-ranked security officers in Kiambu County were on Sunday attacked by angry residents, forcing them to prematurely end a peace-building meeting.
I think after that we can disperse. I will have also them dispersed. Alafu we will communicate later the venue of our Tuesday meeting. Okay? Thank you.
Even the media falling victim as they were not allowed to film the incident.
County Commissioner amechapwa, County Commander amechapwa, mkuu wa ujasusi wa Kiambu amechapwa, na pia governor wetu amechapwa.
3 people have so far died in the conflict, which has left 15 others injured.
Kuna mtu ambaye amechomwa mshare katika mgongo. Kuna mtu mwingine apigwa rungu ya kichwa.
The residents have issued a 15-day ultimatum for an action to be taken, with Kiambu and Kajiado governors promising to come up with a long-lasting solution. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
Now, Makueni County is top on the list of the happiest counties in Kenya, according to a poll released by Infotrack. City dwellers in Nairobi, Kisumu and Mombasa are not a happy lot.
In a report released by Infotrack organization, Makueni County residents are the happiest at 64.4%, followed closely with West Pokot County. According to the poll, Makueni leads in the country happiness index at 64.4%, followed by West Pokot with 62.4%, Machakos 62.1%, and Bomet at 61.8%. Kwale County completes the top 5 list of the happiest counties at 61.3%. Making the top 10 list is Elgeyo Marakwet, Marsabit, Uasin Gishu, Kericho, and Mandera. The 3 cities didn't fare well, with Kisumu taking position 25, Mombasa 44, and Nairobi at number 45 out of the 47 counties. The happiness of these counties have majorly been contributed by the onset of devolution.
We find that in places like Makueni and Machakos, where previously, the issue of food security was a problem, we now see that, with the onset and the strengthening of devolution, that these are areas that, are becoming self-sufficient in terms of their food production.
According to the research, Nyandarua County has the highest number of the unhappy residents. Mombasa, Nairobi, Trans Nzoia and Taita Taveta counties are bottom 4, whose happiness index is low at 52.6%, 52.5%, 52%, and 48.9% respectively. Lack of public participation in the counties and unhealthy politicking was attributed to low happiness index in these counties.
Attributed to the fact that, one, the social and economic pressures in these places is such that life tends to be very hard. Also in terms of, just the physical environment, the traffic, the congestion, the noise, all these things probably serve as a way, serve to undermine happiness in these places.
The survey comes just a few months after the United Nations ranked Kenya among the happiest countries in Africa.
And many health projects in Embu County have stalled for a while now, forcing many locals to walk for kilometers to seek medical services. Now, this despite funds allocation in every financial year. Mogi William reports from Embu County.
After the promulgation of the new constitution in 2010, it was the hope of many Kenyans that development would reach their grassroots level. In Embu County, we focus on the devolved health function to see to it if that is the case. A spot check in several dispensaries within Embu County, many projects are yet to be completed even after huge budgets were allocated and money pumped into the project. Year after year, The projects have been allocated money, but the residents of Embu County are yet to benefit from the project. Embu County was allocated 4.2 million Kenya shillings in 2015-2016 financial year and 4.6 million Kenya shillings 2016-2017 financial year. In the year 2018-2019 financial year, more than 229 million Kenya shillings was allocated to development, among them health services. Despite the huge allocations, women in Makema Bondoni in Mbeere South are finding it difficult to access maternity services, with an incomplete maternity wing in Bondoni dispensary, which was allocated around 3 million Kenya shillings in the year 2018-2019.
Wakati tunafuka na hiyo mboti, tunazalia huko ndani kwa sababu mafuta inaishia hapo katikati na mtu hana mafuta.
In Manyata constituency at Kibugu dispensary, with an allocation of 730,000 Kenya shillings in financial year 2018-2019, the hospital kitchen is yet to be completed.
Kwetu tuko na wards zenye zilijengwa. Na unakuta kama tuna ward hapa Kibugu Ward Center, tulikuwa na maternity wing, tuko na male ward, na hizo facilities zote unakuta haziwezekani kutumiwa.
A visit to Mbirore, Embu North, members of the public were a little agitated, having no health facility within area, forcing them to make long trips to access health services, with allegations that the county government had claimed to have constructed a dispensary in the area.
Hivyo sisi tunashangaa sana na tunauliza viongozi wetu, kwa nini hospitali iwe imejengwa na hakuna hata moja tunaona hapa?
Mwaka wa 2017, 2017-2018, huu mradi bado ulipewa shilingi zingine milioni 2. Sasa swali ambalo tunalo kali zaidi ni, je, huu mradi kwa sasa umegharimu serikali ya Embu County milioni 4 ama bado?
With the stalling of these projects, members of the public are finding it difficult to access vital health services within the county. Mwege William for TV47 in Embu.
Thank you for that report, Mwege William. Many thanks for staying with us here on TV47 Spotlight tonight. Let's take a short break. We'll be back with more in just a minute. Welcome back. Now, it's been more than 3 years since the construction of footbridges along Thika Road kicked off. To date, the bridges are yet to be delivered to Kenyans, and the wait is long overdue. Our reporter Mwangi Maina visited the different places where the bridges are being constructed and filed the following report.
After incessant hit and run cases of pedestrians on various points along the Thika Superhighway, the Kenya National Highways Authority (KENHA) began construction of pedestrian crossing points more than 3 years ago. The footbridges have taken such a long time to be completed and open to be used by Kenyans, and to date, the construction is still going on. The construction might take the entire period the construction of Thika Road took. The footbridges are being constructed at strategic points popular with pedestrians at the Mangu Junction, Wetaithie, Drive-In and Garden City here in Nairobi. The tenders were awarded to 2 construction companies, Interways and Fourways Construction. Interways was to construct the Mangu and Wetaithie bridges, whereas Fourways was awarded the tender to construct the Drive-In and Garden City footbridges. 2 of the bridges have been opened to the public at Mangu and Wetaithie, but not everybody is satisfied with the work done. Some say the bridges are way too below the standards.
Kama hii tunaona most of it imetumika ni ballast, lakini ile ingine tunaona imetumika hard metals which are yani zinaweza kaa for long, lakini tukiangalia kama hii yetu tenda siku 2-3 hata itakuwa inajulikana ni ile mapema ama ni. Although
the bridges have reduced hit and run cases at the crossing point, pedestrians argue that the construction materials used cannot be compared to the materials used in the construction of the old footbridges along the Thika Superhighway.
Bridge ni nyembamba, alafu iko na sharp corner. Wakati unapanda juu kwa ile kona, unaweza pata ajali na wale wase wa pikipiki.
Ile bridge ukipanda pale, stairs iko hapa na mtu wa pikipiki ako kando yako. Yaani nikisa hata mtu akuteremka hivi ukipatana kwa stairs, lazima muondokeane ama mmoja wenu anaweza gonga na pikipiki yani. Alafu kitu ya pili, bado hata stima haijamaliziwa, hata matufali hiyo manini haina. Sasa hii hata Kenya wamefanya ni kama 30% tu.
Labda napata by the way hii bridge mpaka pikipiki ndio inapitia. Lazima kuja na mguu mwingine sana ndio internet kwa hapo. Kwa hivyo wale mambo
the bridges have no roofing and the finishing is far from being done.
Juzi tumenyeshewa mbaya sana. Hoping kama ingekuwa imefanywa roofing kidogo tu hata kama ni half of it, ingetusaidia usiku yenye tulikuwa tunanyeshewa. Na tungenyeshewa hivyo.
Tumeenda muda mrefu sana kama ijamalizika. And I hope najua ya kwamba kuna ugonjwa ilikuja ikapata. Labda maybe Kenya waliona kuna ugonjwa kwanza ikasimama.
The situation is the same at Wetaithie footbridge. Boda operators and people living with disabilities cannot use a bridge. It is a bridge that was allocated more than 200 million Kenya shillings.
By the way haina manufaa kwa watu wa bodaboda kwa sababu unapata ni watu peke yao wanapanda. Kuna zingine zinakuanga na mahali ngoti zinapitanga. Furthermore, hii barabara take long time kukua. Imechukua sijui kaa itakaa mpaka 2022 ndio ikue ama namna gani.
Mtu akiwa mgonjwa, mtu akiwa na shida kidogo tu lazima atumie pikipiki hata kama bridge iko hawezi kupitishwa hapa. Kwa hivyo ungetaka nini kifanyike ili watumalizie vile zile zingine tunaonaga zimemalizika. Juu hii haijamalizika. Kama ile ya Mangu na pale kwa kanisa. Na hii na inaonekana wenye wamepewa hii contract wameenda pole sana kulingana na vile zile zingine tunaonanga. Hii yetu sijui ni nini ilienda, inaenda pole.
Some of the staircases have been built using wood, putting the credibility of Interways construction into question.
Sema hii unajua ni kama ilijengwa ni ponoko by the way. Kwa sababu ukiangalia ile na hii kuna difference. Sio the same. Hii muundo wa hii haichakuwa vile fiti sana. Tuseme kama ikuwe na population kubwa kiasi itasatingisika. Yani si vile sana.
The construction of this footbridge began more than 2 years ago, and until today the construction has not come to an end, with residents here saying that this footbridge does not benefit everybody, including people living with disabilities and boda riders.
But not all are unhappy with the bridge. Others say the number of pedestrian deaths have significantly reduced.
Bora tupite si Mr. Sema ati bora ati sababu hatujawekewa hizi nini hapa juu ati daraja iko poa, daraja iko fiti, inatusaidia. Hii maneno ingine ni ukarabati itamalizika tu.
At the Garden City in Nairobi, construction is still ongoing. Years later, not even poles have been put up. Rusty metal and iron sheets are the landmark. Pedestrian and motorists have to compete who crosses fast.
Mama na watoto wakitaka kuvuka hii because hapa imewekwa zebra crossing. But mtu akitoka mbali ajui zebra crossing iko hapa because hakuna hata signboard yoyote ya kuonyesha kuna bumps mbele ama zebra crossing. So unapata mama anataka kuvuka na mtoto, harakati ya kuvuka sababu yeye anajua kwa right ya kuvuka, but mtu wa gari ajue pale kuna zebra crossing, mtu anafaa across nayo.
Some unlucky pedestrians end up being knocked down by speeding motorists.
Tunapata majanga hapa, watu wanagongwa vitu kama hizo. Kama jana mtu aligongwa pale because ya hii flyover imechelewa sana. Hata hizo chuma saa hizi ziko na kutu, hatujui kama itabeba hiyo uzito itawekwa kwa sababu chuma imeenda more than 5 years ikinyeshewa.
It takes the effort of dedicated traffic police officers to ensure pedestrians cross safely. The police at times overwhelmed by controlling the traffic and the pedestrians. Other pedestrians have to risk their lives as they cross the busy highway at a point where they should be enjoying a footbridge but not begging for one. The wait seems to be far from being over. On a daily basis, you will find contractors here, but at the end of the day, nothing much to take home.
A day before we came here at the Garden City zebra crossing, a pedestrian was knocked down by a speeding vehicle. And the delay in construction of this pedestrian crossing can only tell you the pain and the tears it has caused to the commuters who use the zebra crossing.
At the Mangu Bridge, hawkers decry mistreatment by Kenha officials, barring them from doing businesses near the not-so-good-looking bridge.
Wakati area ina develop, hapo pia biashara iko included. So wakifukuza wafanyikazi ama wafanyi biashara pale, haitakuwa developed juu ni do tunatafuta tulishe familia zetu. Kama hakuna hivyo sisi tuko jobless. Wenye wanatudaisha hawatapata chochote.
Tujui kwenye saizi tutapeleka vitu. Unapata wengine wetu wako na familia. Kuna mwenye anajua mtoto hajui kesho, hajui ati nitakosekana. Yeye anajua lazima ikuje. Hiyo siku uende umwambie ukupata.
Our efforts to speak to the Kenha Director General and the two construction companies bore no fruits. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you for that report, Mwangi Maina. Now, with over 500,000 job losses experienced in Kenya due to the COVID-19 and the growing uncertainty in the Kenyan job market, most graduates who were seeking for white-collar jobs have resorted to self-employment. Our reporter Calvin Chitwa met a 26-year-old School of Law graduate from Kabarak University who has inspired her peers and attracted local leadership after opening a grocery shop within Eldoret town.
With only a few of her savings, Catherine Wamboi began this grocery shop, currently delivering fresh produce to her customers.
When I cleared campus, I withdrew the money. And then I did some business when I was in high school. I used to do some tumba. I had a baby shop in Nakuru. So with all those savings, I started all this one.
This has been inspired by the persistent call by the health ministry officials asking Kenyans to avoid crowded places, especially at the markets.
With this outbreak of coronavirus, I thought it's wise to decongest people, so I started getting suppliers from the market to this place and from farmers to this place.
Wamboi has employed 4 fellow youth, 2 of whom are graduates. She has challenged the youth, many of whom are under the National Hygiene Program, to save their little proceeds as capital to start up small businesses.
I want to encourage the youth. Okay, it's good to have education, yes, I have my own degree, but it's also good to have other means, because sometimes employment is difficult. So I like to encourage those youths who are there at home, just start small with whatever you have.
County leadership, led by Deputy Governor Daniel Chemno, hailed the initiative and promised that the county government will provide loans to help the youth.
We want to make this town to be the history of future billionaires. Start small, grow big. And we want you to mentor other young people. There are many young people who are looking for jobs, but they forget that they can become job creators.
Elgeyo Marakwet Governor Alex Tolgos has urged the youth who are now benefiting through Kazi Mtaani initiative to engage in meaningful businesses.
And we want to ask our youth that having the papers, yes, it's good that you have your papers, and starting an investment like this will not stop you from utilizing the degree that you have. Because I'm sure now Wambui, if she gets another opportunity to practice law, this business will continue, and the youth who have been employed will continue to earn from this investment. Especially now that the government has started the Kazi Mtaani initiative, let the youth save that small amount.
Calvin Chitwa, TV47, Uasin Gishu County.
The government seems to have changed its stand on traditional circumcisions, and speaking in Kakamega yesterday, Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe okayed the ceremonies but under strict supervision of Ministry of Health officials. But how is it like under the Bukusu traditions? Wanji Sostin with the details.
The annual circumcision ceremonies, which usually takes place between August and December in various parts of Western Kenya, have been restricted amid fears the accompanying cultural festivities that could heighten the spread of coronavirus.
This matter, circumcision, is a matter that we are working. We must work closely with the county governments, the elders of the communities, those people who are head of circumcision units. These are the people we must work with, so that we tell them, yes, ikiwezekana inaendelea, lakini this is, don't kill anybody, these are the protocols, na mambo kama hayo.
However, this directive by the Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe seems to have fallen on deaf ears. Kagwe urged cultural and traditional elders to postpone the circumcision events to later next year. However, in the Bukusu community, preparations for the events scheduled for this month are underway. The elders in their defense says that various steps have been omitted due to coronavirus. Before the pandemic, traditional circumcisers will perform rituals to cleanse and bless knives in the early stages of the process. On the eve of the day, the boys who all along have been practicing how to ring a bell go to their uncle's home as a form of official invitation to the ceremony. From here, the uncle is said to feed them, speaking chants as a way of encouragement known as hubita. Thereafter, gifts are given to the boys as a form of blessings before the boy heads home late in the evening. I am the one who took your mom's dowry. We don't fear to face the knife. Don't shame us. Be strong. In the night, the villagers together with the boys sing up to late hours before they go to rest in preparation for the big day. In the wee hours of the morning, the boys are woken up early, headed to the river for mud smearing known as hulonga. A dry grass lusinyande is put on the head, which is symbolic to be straightforward in life. Yes. Siwoyayo, a special song for returning home, is done to signify that a cut must be conducted no matter what. At home, a crowd of people gathers to show love for the tradition, but due to COVID-19, such crowds might be limited. The circumcisers are ready to receive the boys full of ancestral spirit, hovering around restless, and by now the mother in a company of other women have settled down at least to allow the boys to gain courage. The stage is ready, known as Etiangi, and in 5 seconds, the cut is already done. The boys are awarded for standing strong as men. The mud is removed by guards as the father takes the boy around the house to a secluded room for 3 days for a reason.
Vile watoto walitairishwa tena wachukuliwe wasungushwe nyumba baadaye waingie kwa nyumba na mkongo ni kimila. Unajua hawa sasa watasema mimi kama mimi nitakutanganya sitatairishwa tena.
But why is the community defying the Ministry of Health's guidelines? Sinino Mukolongolo is the chairman of traditional circumcisers in Bungoma County.
Mie culture ya Wabukusu, kulingana na sherehe yetu ya Wabukusu, ni sherehe ambayo imetuunganisha sisi na vijana wetu. Tukitairisha vijana wetu wanakuwa kwa njia safi, tena wanatuokopa, wanatupa heshima. Na ukichukua mtoto upeleke hospitali umtairishie huko, anakosa heshima. Tena akikaa na watu wengine anaonekana kama mtu mwenye hana raha mbele ya watu.
They also stated that the government has allowed hospital circumcisions, which they are fearful it may kill their culture.
Hospitali imeingilia upasha tohara. Kwa sababu inavyosema hivyo, wanatuambia sisi wataki sisi tutairisha vijana na hospitali inatairisha. Na hii lukembe yetu hii haishikingi tamu hii. Hata vile nimetairisha ukiangalia kuna tamu kweli. Hii si iko bure. Hii tukitairisha tunachukuanga tu sekundi 3. Si nimechukua hapo sekundi 3. Kijana kichifikiria nimemtairisha nimemaliza kitambo.
Vitalis Manyuru, a father of the initiate, narrates why they embrace BUKUSU traditional circumcisions.
Hiyo njia ni nzuri kwa maana mimi watoto wa kwanza wawili walitumia hiyo njia. Sasa pia sasa nimetumia hiyo njia na naendelea tu kutumia hiyo njia mpaka wakati ndamaliza kwa sababu wamepaki watoto wawili nyuma tena.
Wanji Sostin, Rite of Passage, County of Bungoma.
Interesting. Thank you for that report, Sostin. Many thanks for staying with us here on TV47 Spotlight. Let's take another break, but we'll be back with more in just a few minutes. Welcome back. Now, a middle-aged woman from Mutua village, Lugari constituency, is being held by police for allegedly burning the son's finger using kerosene for allegedly stealing chapati while she was away running errands. Mulindi Kerry reports.
These are the injuries allegedly inflicted to this young boy by her mother Nancy Mukongolo for allegedly eating a piece of chapati without the mother's consent.
Tulikuwa tunataka kucheza alafu tukarudi alafu alikuwa ametupa mabuni tuleta alafu ndio wakanitoa manguo akanichapa ndio wakanipea pilipili nikula alafu ndio wakanifunga pesa na ndio wakaweka kwa mafuta na akawasha.
Mama alinitoa manguo na akanitandika. Kumaliza kunitandika akanipea pilipili 4 nikakula. Kumaliza na akanifunga na pisi yenye wanashukianga nywele na akawanyunyiza mafuta na akawasha kibiriti.
The grade 2 boy is reported to be assaulted oftenly by his mother and his nursing scars in his back that were inflicted using cigarette butts and hot iron.
Hata alikuanga na nchoma kwa mgongo. Anga na nchomea haya saa zingine sigara.
Huko nyuma tena alimusika akamchoma kwa mgongo na waya hata mimi nikaripoti huko ripoti hao wakakuja wakampea onyo.
Kwa hivyo mimi ile kitu nataka uniambie huyu mtoto ni yako ama ni ya mtu mwingine. Huyu mtoto bila mlichoma amkujua kama anaumia. Lakini mama huyu anataka apate discipline kwa sababu tumejaribu kuhukuma hata ukienda kwa shule.
Mara ya kwanza mtoto alichomwa na mama yake akitumia waya akome kutenda ama kufanya kitendo kama hiki ili aendelee kuishi hapa.
Civil rights groups in the region are working closely with the police officer at Matete police station to ensure they flatten the ever-growing assaults graph in the area in the recent days.
Mimi naomba tu ya kwamba manaibu wa chifu kupitia kwa deputy county commissioner wetu ya kwamba tushirikiane cases ambazo zinaripotiwa kwa ofisi zao hasa za dhuluma kwa watoto sikapate kufichuliwa na sifike kwa ofisi mapema ili watoto washughulikiwe mapema sababu ni benefit ya watoto ambayo ni serikali yetu ya kesho.
Mulindi Kerry, TV47, Kakamega.
Very, very sad. Now, the revival of Nairobi-Nanyuki 240 kilometers railway line is expected to revive the economy of various towns along the railway line. Now, however, NARUMORU town in Kieni constituency, Nyeri County, is on the verge of collapsing due to business rivalry.
The traders from Nanyuki claim they were flashed out 3 weeks ago by a section of business people from NARUMORU town, saying they were selling their goods at lower prices, making them to incur losses.
Tumeleta hapa Kaso ni soko ambayo tuliunda baada ya kuwa na furugu kutoka area ya NARUMORU. Na tunashukuru Mungu kwa sababu mahali ambapo tulikuwa tunarushwa sio mahali ambapo tulianguka. Na wakati hii maneno ilianza kama msaha ya wanabiashara na watu wengine ambao wanajifanya ni wanabiashara, wengine ni wanabiashara wakola. Na hao ndio walemeleta hii maneno yote.
Business people from NARUMORU are now appealing to Nyeri Governor Mutahi Kahiga to intervene and have the traders back, noting that they are counting losses since business has been taken to Laikipia County.
Kutoka soko ihamishwe kutoka hapa kwenda Laikipia. Watu wenye walikuwa wanatandika vitu vyao huku soko wako na shida mingi sana. Hata saa hii kuna maboma kadhaa wanalala bila kukula. Juu saa hii kufuata nafasi pale hata wenye wako pale wanakataa watu wananunua kuja wapange pale.
Laikipia traders, however, have insisted that they will not come back after their counterparts offered them Sunday as their trading date.
Na sisi tuko tayari kurudi lakini siku ya Jumapili. Sisi katika kauli tumekata kama NARUMORU watapanga siku ingine muafaka. Sisi tuko tayari kuja hiyo soko.
NARUMORU is now a departed and skeleton town, with some traders now saying they will not benefit from the revival of the railway that's next from Nairobi, Kiambu, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Nyeri and Laikipia counties. Immaculate Oma, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Immaculate, for that report. And in the world of sports, Kenyan chess queen SASHA is plotting an explosive post-COVID-19 comeback.